Hey guys, as you know by now, since I've been doing this throughout the day, it is in fact Callous, and I am in fact live narrating for the winner's bracket, or lower bracket this time, first time, of Callous Invitational 6. It is Starmaster and Pkleech. These guys actually just played, I think yesterday, for Seasonal, and it was Pkleech who came out on top in that set. It was a 3-game set, but Leech did win. If Leech were to win again here, and who knows, it would be an 0-2 for Starmaster, which would be shocking. It would be by far his worst ever Callous Invitational finish, and it would be, yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys predicted him to win the tournament, so it would just be a huge surprise as a whole to see such a consistent and strong player finish with that outcome. He's clearly, on paper, the favorite here against Pkleech, who was one of our play-in winners and certainly deserves credit for getting through play-ins and how difficult that is. There's a little bit of tension pre-match here. Not only, I guess, was there some luck involved in their set yesterday, but they also couldn't decide where to play. Leech strongly prefers to play on main and apparently has some kind of connection issue with Smoke on Tours. Star is like, come on, everybody else uses Tours. There's no way the internet just doesn't work for one person. Give me a break. So, yeah, Star wanted to play on Tours, kind of insisted on it. Leech really wanted to play on main. That was awkward. I mean, I don't have an official rule that enforces that people play on Tours, because I don't give a shit if people choose to play on main as long as they save the games. In situations like this, where one of them really wants to play on main, one of them really wants to play on Tours, it's a little bit awkward, and maybe in that kind of situation, a rule forcing you in that situation to go to one or the other, which would of course be Tours, maybe that would be helpful. But they ultimately, Leech gave in and said, all right, I'll try Tours. And apparently, like I said, he has connection issues, DCs all the time from Tours. I don't know what the deal is. And I don't know. I just, he lives in Italy. I've never lived in Italy. I don't have Italian internet. I don't know what I don't know. So, on my end, I have no clue to tell you whether or not it really is as bad as he says and he disconnects all the time and it's fucking unplayable, or if he's being hyperbolic and it's, he has a couple issues, but it's not that damn bad, or what the deal is. I just don't know what I don't know in this case. Well, so far he hasn't disconnected. 13 whole turns in, so off to a good start. This could easily end up being a longer game. We've got two clearly stally teams here. 4E, I was going to call it TSS, but there might not even be a T-Tower, but 4E Spikes versus the most standard 3 in the game. Scar and Bliss Tar. Come on, HP Grass. You don't see a lot of that these days, but there it is. I still don't think he's going to stay in while paralyzed against the T-Tar, who could just rock slide him here, brick break him here, whatever, but did a nice little chunk with the HP Grass. Like I said, fairly uncommon set, and it is Focus Punch, so good thing she didn't stay in. Not that Milo's going to take it super well either. In fact, that is a relevant crit, of course, and that's going to leave Milo in a bad place. It's going to leave her at 7% after taking that Focus Punch. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues. I'm a big Milo fan myself. I'm not shitting on the Mon, but one of the big complaints that people have and why they think that Milo isn't good is exactly like that. You're one, you don't actually resist rocks, so like you're just one crit or bad piece of luck or what have you away from no longer being an actual answer to T-Tower. It's clearly not as sturdy in that role as, say, a Swampert, pending, of course, the devastating HP Grass weakness. But that being said, Starmaster does not want to stay in case my Lotic goes for Surf there, which of course it didn't, and it allows my Lotic to get a recover off, which is big. So, we go back to stability for now. The Spikes advantage does belong to Leech right now. He's got the one layer down, whereas Starmaster has not yet managed to establish one, but doesn't mean that he can't or won't. Starmie comes in, so unsurprisingly, Star does have a rapid spinner in the back. Like I said, this has all the signs other than them both being snail players, because Star's not an especially slow player. Leech is more on the deliberate side. But this has a lot of the signs of being potentially a long game, which is just what I need after 3 or 4 other live narrations earlier today. My throat is hoping for a very long set. I'm hoping it's at least 200 turns per game. It's what I need. It's what I need right now. Blissy's got the 2 boosts again. She could start firing off attacks and really do some damage here. Starmie, I mean, the T-Wave's fine, but obviously doesn't have much of an interest in taking boosted HP grasses. And Blissey did stay in, and even if it was HP grass there, it would not have done that much to the opposing Bliss. But of course, being paralyzed means that if it's a toxic Bliss from Star, which I don't believe... Nah, it is T-Wave, so poison wouldn't be an option here. Here's the T-Tar, and it's Flamethrower there. Grass would have toasted it, but alas, does not have that here. Probably switches out if you're Leech, right? You're at 2/3, you're paralyzed, you're begging for a Rock Slide. It's hard to stay in here. Now, granted, you don't want to go to my low tick and get it Focus Punched again because that went so well last time, but I don't think you could stay in. The CM Bliss is a legitimate threat for Leech to Star Master, and as long as he just keeps it alive and stays conservative with it, he's going to have multiple opportunities to get a boost or 2 and fire off an attack, and he's going to have chances to do damage. Had he gone for HP Grass there rather than Flamethrower, would have nailed the tire. It would have done a ton of damage. It might have even killed it. So I don't think you should give up the Bliss. I would switch for sure if you're Leech. But like I said, he is a bit of a deliberate player. He's going to think it over. Fine and well. But the conclusion that I think you should come to is switch. And he is connected, so this is not a DC situation. He simply hasn't decided yet. And he does ultimately switch, and it is Focus Punch, and this seems like a clearly better outcome. Rachi takes it fine, about 1/3, and he gets to keep the Bliss for another day. So far, for how awful Tours is and how he disconnects every 10 seconds or whatever, there hasn't been any problem. There hasn't been a single disconnect. Not that I'm rooting for there to be. I obviously don't want him to DC, but so far, it looks like maybe Pkleech had one bad experience one time while it was, whatever, server was a little shaky or whatever, and he has since then assumed that it's just going to be bad for him every time, and maybe that's not the case. Really doesn't seem so bad in this moment. Rock Slide comes down, but through that Reflect that the Jirachi set up, which is an uncommon move, by the way, that really didn't do that much. 22%. And there's Hidden Power, which was aimed at the Tar, of course, but ends up connecting with the Skarmory for not even lefties negating damage, thanks to 4x resist. Slower pace here, like I said. Leech tends to be a more deliberate player, and that's fine and well. Does get Fori in, and it gets Drill Pecked, but he gets Rapid Spin off. Drill Peck again, just pecking him down. And there is a reestablished lair of spikes for Leech. Now Rachi coming in, and Star going to reestablish his spikes. And he's got a Wish now. Very defensive team for Leech. He's got screens, he's got Wish, he's got Spin. I mean, this is just Leech in general. He plays pretty defensive teams, and he plays very slowly, deliberately, stally, all that good stuff. This is Leech 101. And then Star Master with Boring Standard. That's kind of Star Master 101 as well. So, thus far, nothing here that I would be surprised by from either player. I may have to reach for the milk jug, boys. Might be a long one. And there's a DC for Leech. But he came back pretty quickly. Not so bad. Not so bad. I'm still here, guys. Just not a lot happening. Alright, here's a new poke. T-Tar. Usually on 4E squads, it is a pursuit tar. It doesn't have to be, but the vast majority of the time it is a pursuit tar. So you can allow the 4E to actually spin, unless it is paired with another spinner in the back, which could be the case because it's an unrevealed for Leech, but that doesn't seem very likely. He stays in, takes a surf. Would have been bad had there been a critical hit or a full para there. Neither of those things occur, and the crunch does kill Starmie, which is a crucial advantage in this matchup because now any additional spikes that Leech manages to get down, Starmaster is not going to be able to remove. They're going to stay there for the rest of the game. Right now there's one, could end up being more than one, and Flamethrower there is going to land a burn on Skarm as well. So 2-1 spikes advantage for Star, however, 6-5 Pokemon advantage, and the burn there favoring Leech. And like I said, he does have that 4E spinner in the back, which is going to be low when he comes in, but we now know, since we've seen the last poke, not that there was any doubt, it was never going to be a Gengar there, but we now know definitively no Ghost. So if the 4E gets to Rapid Spin at some point, that's very good for him. Now, granted, I don't know that I would risk it here. What's my low tick at? 57%? Yeah, I mean, it's iffy, but I think you still go to my low tick here. It would get low for sure, coming in on Spikes and possibly Earthquake. But I don't know that Earthquake kills 4E here. Swampert may go for Surf or Hydro Pump, which if you go to my low tick, it would take even better. Well, now Leech can't spin either. Hydro Pump, I don't know if the crit mattered or not. It depends on the EVs for both pokes, but the critical hit certainly is going to make it so 4E can't survive. And now Leech and Starmaster both can't spin. Leech, however, can't spike either, whereas Star can put that third layer down. He's already got the 2-1 spikes advantage, so now I think Starmaster is ahead in this game, but it's certainly far from over. And we still don't know the last poke for Leech. Let's obviously keep that in mind. The team needs another rock resist, probably. And it needs probably some kind of spikes / ground earthquake / immunity. So I don't know if we're looking at like a last Claydol or Flygon, or I mean, I guess the whole team could be grounded, but I would say that's very questionable when 4E is your spinner, because even when paired with Pursuitar, it is not the most reliable spinner, and it just never will be. So by process of elimination, it is indeed Flygon. I generally don't love Flygon on teams without Magneton, but it can, it's on Superman. It does have its purposes. At least it has spikes and sand with it, which are also basically essential for Flygon. It's a threat to Rachi here. There's no doubt about that. Skarm being burnt actually matters even more than it initially appears like it did, because yeah, I mean, Skarm is by far the best answer to the Flygon that Star's got. And once the Skarmory dies, succumbs to that burn, then Leech is just going to be able to spam EQ with that Flygon, and nothing that Star has really wants to switch into that. Swampert can take them okay, but I mean, Earthquakes over time and coming in on the spikes every time, or if the Flygon switches it up and clicks Toxic and hits the Pert with that, those things are really going to add up over time. The Swampert is not going to be able to hold the Flygon off forever. The Flygon could really go wild here, largely because of that Skarmory burn, unfortunately. It really makes up for you're running this without Magneton. Otherwise, the Skarm would effectively wall the Flygon for a long time, but who needs Magneton when you can get burns? Well, there's a dead T-Tar for Leech. 4x weak focus punch. He is out of here. That leaves us in a 4-5 situation with Star in the lead, but I mean, he is, but I can see plenty of scenarios where Leech ends up winning this game. I think it's an air quotes lead. I think it's an on-paper lead. Leech down to 60 seconds. Now 30 seconds would be a terrible time to disconnect, wouldn't it? Gonna go to Milo here. 49% after coming in on the spikes. It threatens a surf here, but at the same time, if it just goes for a cover, T-Tar could go for the focus punch here. Probably Star is just going to go to Blissey. No, he goes to Jirachi, and it is recover. Kate. 3 layers of spikes down. That's going to add up. And now Rachi is going to try to set up for Star Master. Now, granted, it may or may not be faster than the Flygon. Wild variance among those spreads. Sometimes Flygon has no speed at all and it's pure bulk. Other times it's over 300. And it's the same deal in reverse. Jirachi can be sometimes minus speed when it's sassy, which is not going to be the case here. Or it can be 244, 263, 270, 280, over 300. There's so many benchmarks that a Jirachi can hit. He's going to sub up here, and Fire Punch will not pop it. There's another sub, and Leech is going to go for Wish. Blissey going to try to check this now. Another Calm Mind. That's the 4th one for Star Master, but Blissey eats the Wish and gets very healthy. Will Rachi from this position be able to break through? It will if it gets a freeze. But Leech is going to begin Calm Minding up as well, which is going to make this real awkward. Fishing for freezes, not bothering, not going to win the blow for blow, but does have Serene Grace on his side. Calm Mind number 5. As Leech goes for Soft Boiled, so it's 5 boosts versus 2 at the moment. There is boost number 6 and 3, respectively. This whole time, Star has been sitting behind the sub and gaining lefties. Ice Punch again. Still no freeze, 20%, 1 in 5 with each one of those. And a freeze is not necessarily game-breaking. Blissey could stay frozen for a couple turns, whatever. Star does his thing, wakes up, soft boils, back to normal. Freeze does not have to be the end of the world here. There's a Thunderbolt. Really doesn't matter if not for crit. And Leech has plenty of opportunities to just thaw and soft boiled here, so he'd obviously prefer to not be frozen, but he doesn't have to panic just yet. There you go. Thaw soft boiled. No big deal. Now, granted, Star might still win this. In my experience, the Jirachi does win. This set of Jirachi does win the one-on-one versus Blissey the majority of the time. Now, granted, it's Thunderbolt rather than Thunder, which has less power, but it's a Flamethrower Bliss on the other side as opposed to Bolt Beams. That certainly makes this more difficult. Not clear why he went Hidden Power there. That you either Flamethrower or you Soft Boiled there. I don't understand the Hidden Power. But he's going to Soft Boiled again as Star looks to refreeze the Blissey with some Serene Grace action. Crit works. Well, Star with an opportunity to either freeze right now or get back-to-back crits. Either one would do it for Bliss. And there's the freeze. It's exactly what he needs. Star, I think, should sub now, actually, rather than attack. He must be confident that he's faster than the Flygon, because if you kill the Blissey, Flygon follows up. And he does kill the Bliss, so he must think that he's faster. Here's Flygon threatening the Stab Earthquake. Rachi is not faster, and down that goes to the EQ. I wonder why Star didn't substitute there. I guess he really, really wanted to kill that Blissey, but had he just taken one turn to substitute there, he just wins, right? As long as Bliss doesn't thaw for that one extra turn, he just wins, right? Like he the Flygon doesn't matter because it pops the sub and then you just Ice Punch it, and then Rachi just sweeps the team. I don't know if that was just great discipline or not enough greed from Star Master, but I certainly in that position would have clicked sub, and I think if he had clicked sub, this game is over. So we'll see. That might come back to bite him. Certainly if Leech goes on to win this game, and Milo did briefly get frozen, but then it managed to thaw. If Leech goes on to win this game, I think Star Master has to immediately look at that and just be like, why the fuck, why didn't I sub? I could have just won. I could have just swept. Very curious. We'll see if that ends up making the difference, but that is absolutely going to be the turn that stands out in my mind if he doesn't end up getting there. That was the one play that made me scratch my head and go, wasn't he supposed to sub there? It's so free. Swampert coming in to Surf now. On paper, Star is still ahead. He's got a 4-3 advantage. He's got 3 spikes as opposed to 1. I don't know though, just looking at the specific Pokemon, all the Mons for Leech seem pretty useful here. All 3 of them really seem to have purpose and seem to be pretty good in the matchup, all things considered. So like, I don't know. Even though Star is, I'm supposed to tell you that Star's winning right now, but I don't know that he actually is. I think this game could still go either way, but if I had to make a prediction right now as to how it ends, and this is live, so this is not me getting ahead of it and, revisionist history, whatever. If I had to make a prediction right now as to how the game ends, I think Leech is actually going to win this game, but I don't feel 100% about that. I don't think this game is over, but I think Leech has the advantage. I think Leech will win. And we'll see if that turns out to be true. Milo's difficult to kill, and Flygon can spam Earthquake pretty efficiently. Remember that the Skarmory is both low and burnt. And then, let me just check on the Rachi. We haven't seen that guy in a while. Rachi, 85% at the moment. Pretty healthy. He's chilling. He can last for a while as well and play that PP stall game if it really comes to it. So yeah, that's my prediction. I've got Leech winning this one in a grind, and it has in fact been a grind. And I'm hoping that not all 2, 3, whatever it ends up being games, I'm hoping they're all not like this, but obviously players have the right and their prerogative to use stall teams if that's what they want to do. It's what they both opted for here. And it's been a close one, as stall on stall often is. But Starmaster there was looking for a desperation freeze on Milo that he didn't find, and now Swampert not doing so hot. Man, that's wow. I would be so frustrated if I were Star. What a risky and unnecessarily risky switch to Flygon there for Leech. I don't get that at all. Unless Milo is way lower on PP than I realize. Don't you just surf there? He's got 12 left. Oh, God. I surf there all day, every day. I don't get that. He could have just gotten his Flygon randomly killed by Ice Beam for no reason. Oh, man, those are 2 head scratchers. I don't get that Flygon switch for Leech at all. Trying to throw pretty fucking hard. And then for Star, I just go back to, if you, dude, you just sub that one turn and Bliss doesn't thaw. You're the winner. You just sweep. GG noob cakes. No re. I think Star gave it away. I think Leech is going to win. I think Star gave it away. Now, obviously, if he subs and Bliss head thawed and soft boiled, it's tricky. You're going to have to refreeze him or recrit him or whatever, and the Bliss is flamethrower, so maybe the matchup doesn't go your way. But, like, mathematically, he just doesn't thaw far more than he does thaw there, and the upside is so good. If he doesn't thaw, you just win the game. I'm stuck on that play. I think Star dropped the ball on that turn. And we are approaching triple figures. I was hoping, like I said, my throat just really wants a marathon of a set. I'm hoping a good hour and a half of my weekend time, my days off here, that I don't really want to play video games or have sex with my wife or do anything fun. I'd rather sit here and narrate Pokemon games. So I'm glad this is a long one, a marathon. I hope actually the players slow down and really grind it out a little more. That being said, little sarcasm, little passive aggressiveness baked in there. This one's looking pretty done. It seems to be CV Flygon and Swampert, even if it gets through the Flygon. I don't know that it does, but even if it does, you don't beat my Lotic. I believe my prediction is going to come true. I believe Leech is going to grind out this one. It's taken a minute, and Stars has had to rely on double, now triple protects, which is obnoxious. Stars coin flipping and then going for the Will-O-Wisp miss on the next one. But yeah, triple protect, successful, evidently. Leech can still just go to Milo and not care about this. Or Rachi if you want to get Milo in for free if you're really that scared. But pending a pretty colossal throw, Leech should have this one, and we'll see from there. Like I said, these guys played just yesterday, I believe, for Seasonal. It went to 3, but Leech took it down. Leech is capable of beating Star, and if he manages to do it again, it'll be an extremely unlikely and unforeseen 0-2 for the Master of the Stars, who historically has been one of the very best and most consistent CALLOUS Invitational players. Him, Linear, and ABR have outstanding all-time records. Star has been remarkably consistent with his finishes in this tournament. Should he 0-2 here, it would be an extreme outlier. But we're on our way. He's one game away from an 0-2 here, which would be an absolute shock. He will need to defeat Pkleech twice, an opponent who just beat him in a best-of-3 yesterday. If he does not manage to rally 2 in a row, it will be a massive upset and disappointment for the Master of the Stars. Losing to 2 Zoomers, Jester and Leech. Star is super duper capable of rallying back. Oh no. No! Leech, how could you do this to me? How could you need a moment? I don't want you to need a moment. Ugh. You guys know what a moment means in Pokemon. A moment's at least 5 minutes. Ugh. I'm ready for my afternoon nap. How could he need a fucking moment? Ugh. How could he do this to me? Know what the best part is? Sometime later today, I think it's at 5 o'clock, I still have one more set to narrate between Asta and Endil. As much as I want to do that one live, it is starting to add up on my throat. This is like my 4th or 5th one live today, and that's in addition to non-live ones, 2 other sets that I recorded this morning. I'm going to do my best for you guys, but may have to do Asta Endel not live tomorrow morning or something when my throat feels not burning. I hearken back to, I think Star gave that one away. If he had just substituted there, I think he just sweeps the game with Irachi and he's up 1-0 rather than down 0-1. You guys want to do an over-under, you gamblers? Over-under on what a moment for Leech ends up being? My initial was 5 minutes. Not from now, but from the time when he said it. And I would take the over. That's what a moment means in Pokemon. A moment is never, a minute, 2 minutes. It's always at least 5. I didn't actually watch the seasonal games. I don't really watch or keep track of seasonal in general. It's just not a tournament I care about, if we're just being frank. But had I watched the seasonal games between them, maybe I could have a better idea about the adjustments that they're likely to make, or what either one may bring in game 2. I don't think Star's gonna really alter his prep in any meaningful way. I think he's just gonna bring a solid team that he's comfortable with and just try to play well. That's pretty much his go-to. Leech, I don't know. He's not. Oops. Oh, hey, it's my emails. You can even maybe see some of them. If you zoom in well enough, you might even see some. Look at that. Doxing myself. It's because I had my feet up. It's hitting the mouse over there to my email. It is my real email address. I mean, I have other ones, but that is a real address that I use pretty frequently, and I don't just give you some made-up address for PayPal purposes. That is actually an email that I use for other things. It's my real name. It's my real identity. I have no enemies here in Pokemon. I'm pretty transparent about myself and my life, and I've actually met 2 Pokemon players now. As of the beginning of this year, I had met 0. I know a lot of you guys have met whoever, friends, multiple people, whatever, World Cup mates if you're in Europe. Fairly common to meet other Mons players in real life, but it's something I had never done for whatever reason, but I've actually met 2 this year, so making friends, and as much of a sexy enigma as I am in fact a real person, and now at least 2 other Pokemon players can verify it. And I don't know how long it's been, but I easily would have won the over on the 5-minute over-under. Killing me, Pkleech. It's probably annoying Star Master too. I'm sure he's annoyed that he lost to him yesterday. I'm sure he's annoyed that they had to debate whether they're playing on main versus here. I'm sure he's annoyed by the wait. I'm sure he's annoyed that he didn't substitute. I'm sure he's annoyed. But that's cool, because now we get a second game. Hopefully he waits just as long in between games if we go to a game 3. It's what I'm hoping for. T-Tar lead for Star. On the bottom, Leech on the top again with a less common but not wild Swampert lead. And Leech has opted for Fortress once again. Worked last time, maybe it'll work again. He's a defensive player at heart. Fori, I mean, I love Fori. Nobody else seems to anymore these days, but I will die on the hill that Fori is good and Fori teams are good. will die on that damn hill. Hey, Starmaster agrees, because with his tournament life on the line, what does he go to? Who does he trust? Ghost Fortress. As I would as well. Like I said, Fori's a good mon. Now, what we have seen a bit of in this tournament is HP Fire Fori, which I'm personally pretty fond of. I spam the crap out of a team built by Atlas/Musical Tide all the way back in 2016. It's like my most used ladder team ever. I've played hundreds and hundreds of games. I've got at least a dozen accounts going 1500 plus with only that team. And that has an HP Fire Fori, which is largely just for the Fori mirror. And it's good. I stand by it. And Starmaster is busting out the HP Fire Fori here as well. I'm hoping that this tournament, since multiple people have started to play it, has given validation that HP Fire on Fori is very real and very legit. And that is obviously going to give Starmaster the significant advantage in the direct Fori on Fori matchup. That being said, my Lotic is arguably the best counter in the game to mixed Salamence. Gotta be up there. And yeah, I mean, that Dragon Claw did nothing, did like a fourth. Milo can just recover it away, and here we go. Well, you get what you wish for. Very well may be another grind, another slowy game. 2 Fori teams here. Presumably Pursuit Towers for both players. It makes a ton of sense for Leech. I mean, Mence in general just wants Gengar gone. Swampert feels better with it gone. Rachi, depending on the set, especially if it's a set that does not directly threaten Gengar in a meaningful way, wants it gone. Yeah, it feels pretty. It feels pretty clear that there should be a Pursuit Tire somewhere for Leech in the back. Now for Starmaster, I wonder what his Rock Resist is. I wonder if he's taking a page out of Eden's book here and opting for the double water. And even though he's got my Lotic, he actually also has, say, a Swampert Blissey in the back. He could be cheating. I don't know that Starmaster would. He's kind of by the book, but I have seen older variants of this team that would have like Arrow Dougie as the last two and just don't even bother with a real Rock Resist, and no, Dugtrio doesn't count. Fire Blast there for 39%. A little bit reduced thanks to Calm Mind, but still doing quite a bit more than the T-Bolt did. But Rachi's faster and has Serene Grace here, and Fire Blast can miss, so unclear who actually wins this one-on-one, but not as simple as Fire Blast beats Thunderbolt here. And as per usual, it is Starmaster already locking, and Leech who is thinking it over. He did this all during play-ins. Whatever works for him. He's a man who takes his time. More thinking for Leech, taking a minute and potentially more on this turn. It's hard to know what he should do based on the rest of his team. Like I said, I would think there's a T-Type there somewhere. Not clear what the last poke is. Could just be Bliss, but it's tempting to stay in T-Bolt here for sure. I don't know if it's the right play, but it's a tempting play. Man, Leech is really unsure. Taking a full 2 minutes here to think it over, and still thinking. He might be considering going to Mence, getting Intimidate off, and resisting the Fire Blast that he thinks might be incoming. He might go to Bliss. Salamence is the answer, And Star did stay into Fire Blast. Check on Mence here. We've seen Dragon Claw, so could be a mixed Mence with Brick Break, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Okay, they both opt to switch. Rachi comes back in. Against anything other than Hypnosis, it should be totally safe and fine against my Milotic. And more thinking from Leech. Mistakes were made. Leech is one of those players that you shouldn't narrate live. He always plays stall, and he always plays slowly. Leech is better as a replay player. It's one of those things, like a band that I am very fond of is Third Eye Blind, but they're totally a studio band. Live, they're not good. One of my biggest pet peeves is the lead singer Stephen Jenkins constantly has the audience sing the lyrics rather than him sing it. I hate that. Is that supposed to be like interactive and like get the audience into it or whatever? I didn't pay hundreds of dollars for the ticket and parking and whatever bullshit to have a bunch of random no talent drunk people sing the song. I paid to hear you sing the song. So you sticking your hand out and the microphone out to the audience and being like, "Hey, give me the lyrics. What's the next line?" That's not what I want to hear. It's not what I want to see. And he habitually does that in live shows, and it blows. So, like, as much as I like that band, they're a studio band. They're not a live band, as far as I'm concerned. Pkleech is the Pokemon equivalent here. He's someone that I should be narrating only in replays, not live. Because, like I said, he plays stall and he plays slow, and it puts an old man like me who needs afternoon naps to sleep. Spike's advantage does belong to Starmaster at the moment. And as we've established, he has HP Fire on his Fori, and Leech doesn't, so when it comes to that direct heads-up matchup, Starmaster has the advantage there as well. We end up with Fori on Fori, and neither one has shown a ghost. So that makes it even more awkward, because they can both spin freely without the need of the Pursuit Tire. And that is what they're going to do. These Foris are made for spinning, and that's just what they'll do. Rapid spin. Yep. Okay, I got a prediction. Is it rapid spin? Hey! I should obviously be in CALLOUS Invitational. Here's Milo. There's Flamethrower. And now Bliss. Okay. Toxic there is avoided, and T-Wave comes down on Milo, triggering good old Marvel Scale, but can just refresh that away. And he does. I have another prediction. Wait for it. Is it Rapid Spin? Hey! This might be a grind. That's the way to break through it. Just pressure the other one with HP Fire. The chip adds up. And Leech DCs briefly, but reappears. The connection really has not been as bad as he made it out to be. He's disconnected a couple times, but like only a couple times, and he's reconnected pretty quickly. It really doesn't seem that bad. It's obviously not perfect, but it doesn't seem that bad. And there's Rapid Spin. Who would have known? It feels like Starmaster should be able to force the issue here. It feels like if they keep doing this loop, he could just keep shoving HP fires into the other fortress, and eventually Leech can't do it anymore. It's slow, but if they keep doing the loop that they've been doing, Starmaster should win out. Not ready to call this game over by any means. Nobody's dead. We don't know the last poke for either one, even though I think it's T-Tar for Leech. But the way that this has been playing, the way that the gameplay loop has been, Starmaster should have the edge in the long run. But of course, Flamethrower or HP Fire, Ice Beam, all those things. You can get burns, you can get freezes. There's ways for Leech to break through this, but if things continue to play out as normal, Star should have the edge. He did pass the Wish to the Fori there, so he's going to negate the damage that it took earlier from HP Fire. And it is Last Poke T-Tar, unsurprising, which I think is a special tar here. So I think my Lotic should come in pretty safely. You could go to Milo if you're worried about a Rock Slide, but I think that would be... Or, sorry, Meta if you're worried about Rock Slide, but I think that would be a mistake because it gives Leech the opportunity to just Fire Blast it into Oblivion. It's almost certainly special, and in fact, it shows Crunch here. Milo should just be able to recover this away. What's the worst case here? HP Grass? Just going to go for Flamethrower, but even then, even if he were to burn him, it wouldn't matter because we know it as Recover, so the only thing he could really do, if he even has Ice Beam, which many Pursuit Tar don't have, but if he has Ice Beam, maybe he could freeze him since you obviously can't refresh that away. Fori's made it back in. Rachi has a floating wish that he can give to whoever it ends up being. And Leech is thinking. There's T-Bolt. I mean, with a couple boosts, it's a real threat here. Maybe Rachi will finally make some progress in this game. That Earthquake did nowhere near enough. If it did 47%, it has zero chance to kill from 59% pending a crit. So, from Leech's perspective, you're either worried about Boom or you stay in. Thunderbolt again. And it is Boom, but actually, it comes up short. He survives at 3%. So the question now becomes, does Star have something that's actually faster than the Rachi? I see a whole lot of things that are not faster than Jirachi. Is there something in the back that is? The hesitation makes me a little nervous. If he had like an arrow or a Mence or whatever in the back, he would clearly go to it here, right? Making me a little nervous for Star. Fori's definitely not faster. There we go. It is Aerodactyl. I'm surprised that that just wasn't automatically on the table. That's clearly the play here. He might have been thinking over if any of his other stuff is faster, but as we can safely assume, it is probably not, but Arrow certainly is. Arrow certainly is. I mean, you gotta let it go if you're Leech, right? He's not gonna get greedy, and yeah, I guess he is. Alright, he's gonna try to preserve the Jirachi, and that hidden power felt not very strong. Is this again the substitute Leechy Aerodactyl? making a resurgence, the new standard arrow set, apparently. I think if it were Choice Band, that hidden power would have done more. I think we're seeing another sub-Leechy Aerodactyl in one of my live narrations. Now there's the spin, so clearing the way to try to heal up that Rachi. It's very low, but if he manages to somehow heal it up, get a wish to it, whatever, get it back to healthy, then Leech probably wins. He's ahead in this moment, 6-5, but Star does still have the Fori that is superior in this specific matchup. And he gets a spike down as Leech goes to T-Tar. Threatening Fire Blast, but nothing preventing Milo from coming in. Crunch an underwhelming 22%. Does not get a Specs drop either. Here's Bliss coming in on a spike. And Milo just going to recover, just in case T-Tar had stayed in to Crunch again, or HP Grass, or what have you. Toxic T-Wave. Not a lot of progress. It'll just prompt a refresh and probably a switch. No big deal in either case. Huh. Not sure what he was fishing for with T-Wave again there. That doesn't make any sense to me. If Star stays in, it was just going to be to refresh, right? And that would always happen after the T-Wave because you're paralyzed. Doesn't happen super often, but once in a while, Leech makes these like clicker plays that are very curious of like it doesn't feel very thought out. What were you trying to get there? I mean, he must have thought there'd be a switch, obviously, but there wasn't, and now you put yourself in this weird position where, like, yeah, you can soft boil, but it's not as good as it would have been before. You leave yourself at lower health than you would have any other way because you've let the toxic accumulate here. And he pulls it back, so the Bliss is actually somewhat low, and that opens up a small window for Star Master if he can pick off the Bliss. Maybe he could do some work with some of his special-oriented stuff. Fori on Fori, one layer each. Free rapid spins for both if they want it. And they do. Here's Bliss. Toxic Fori. Alright, I don't mind that. Put a little pressure on her. Still going to just be a soft-boiled here, but it's better than nothing. But Crisis averted for Leech. He does manage to get the Bliss back to healthy. Man, I feel like we haven't seen the Celebi in ages. What does he have here? He has a Leech Seed that he can't hit. Oh, no wonder. That's literally the only thing we've seen all game. No wonder I don't remember what he has, because we don't know. Turn 63, even though he got revealed really early on, Leech Seed just now is the only thing it's done all game. And he does connect with Leech Seed through Para this time, but now he's in that awkward position of Crunch versus Pursuit while paralyzed here. Okay. BP's out. Rachi gets a little bit of lefties back, but here's Tar. Leech is really trying slowly but surely to heal that Rachi up. That's going to be a tall task, but I mean, it'll be really good if he manages. I just don't know how realistic it is. He fishes for Ice Punch and doesn't get it, and Tar goes for Pursuit, which he's clearly going to click again. So Leech has no choice here but to Ice Punch again and cross his fingers. Unless he wants to try to paralyze it with Thunderbolt, but Ice Punch seems better. And he freezes and doesn't thaw. So now Rachi's obviously going to run away, so unless Star Master thaws and pursuits here, the Rachi is going to escape yet again. And it's back to Arrow, and Rachi stays in for the wish, so good thing Star Master didn't listen to me in that instance and stay in, because if he didn't thaw, it'd be bad. Now, at least, the Aerodactyl can force the Jirachi off of the wish and delay its return to health a little bit longer. And it's looking like an obligatory earthquake here. Oh no, another Callous Invitational match has started. How can this happen? I think that one is not for me. It's not. It's Pkleech and M-Dragon, but that one is not for me to narrate. Thank God. I am going to click on it just real quick so we can check on it from time to time. Hey, it's already a knockout. But our focus is going to remain here. There is Flamethrower. And there's Bliss. Takes 12% from Surf. Bitch, you're going down. T-Wave connecting with Celebi on the way in. Good old Natural Curemon doesn't overly care about that, but Leech will be able to get a free soft-boiled off here, and there's not a whole lot that Celebi's going to be able to do about that. Going to opt for Leech Seed, which does connect through the para. And Leech Seed going to connect with T-Tower through the para as well. Hidden Power, bouncing off. Well, if I have to make a prediction, this feels an awful lot like last game. Nice, long, slow game with an unclear winner. But if I had to make a prediction, which is nothing more than that, not calling it over, just saying who I think is ahead. If I had to make a prediction, I think that Leech is probably ahead in this game as well. I think Leech will probably win this very slowly. But it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Star could send us to a third stally, slow, 100-turn, 4-y game for me to live narrate. Mistakes were made in my life. Should have remembered that Leech is unlive narratable, unless I have my buddy Jabba here with me to kill the time, but he's smart and wouldn't suffer through this with me, so on my own. That did a whole lot of nothing. 11% on Rock Slide from Mixed Mans. Good old Marvel scale. Should I check on Pkleech and M-Dragon? Thing is, I don't want to spoil that set by checking in too much on it here, because someone's going to narrate it in its entirety, and it's not going to be me. And I don't want to ruin that for him. Man, how bad would it be if Leech timed out? Okay, well, there's an opportunity here for a kill, actually. If Leech crits a Dragon Claw here, then Milotic will die. Oh, I would have gone for it all day. You crit, you win, right? Milo's dead, and you got this? Any way to break a boring, slow stall v stall, right? I would have gone for the crit there. Well, there's Milotic with a crit. That also has a chance to crit and win here. But he doesn't go for it either. Why does no one go for critical hits? Click the damn button, guys. Go for the W. Fuck Toxic. Go for the crit. Go for the win. Luck over skill, as a wise user once said. I don't know where that guy ended up. He was playing like last year or so, but I think he's retired. I think he's finally rode off into the Italian sunset somewhere. But he'll be back. No one ever quits. There's the pullback to Forey and the serve. Sure. It doesn't feel like Leech is outplaying Star. It feels like Star is playing a little bit better. I don't necessarily love every decision that Leech has made. Star is probably the better Pokemon player and is probably playing better as a whole, but Leech is not playing poorly. He's making one or two questionable plays, but like he's not playing worse enough than Star to choke this away, probably. Leech has the matchup advantage. He's in the favorable position. Leech should get this slowly but surely, even if I don't agree with every decision that he's making in every line. I think this could have been played smoother, more efficiently, and he could be a little more focused on what his win condition is and kind of a more streamlined way to get where you're going. But I don't think he's playing badly enough to blatantly fuck this up, and I think Leech should eventually win this game. But it's going to be another game, once again going over a hundo here, which makes me hope that Leech wins the fucking game, because if they go to a game 3, it's going to be an hour of my life that I'll never get back. Meanwhile, since I'm peeking at it on my phone, Teklos and M-Dragon are almost done their game already. I would not be surprised, certainly if this goes to Game 3, that if Teklos and M-Dragon get their whole series done before this series finishes, despite how long in real time, like 45 minutes or whatever, after the fact they started. If this goes to Game 3, Teklos and M-Dragon will absolutely finish first. As it stands, even if this doesn't go to Game 3, Teklos and M-Dragon might finish first, but if this goes to a third game, then for sure that other series gets done before this does. Forey down here. And that's it. Starmaster with the concession. Seems not thrilled in the comments here. That I think that is a sarcastic, yeah, really fun. And he is going to go out with a very surprising and unexpected 0-2 record in CALLOUS Invitational 6. His worst record by far historically in this tournament. A shocking 0-2 and easily his worst finish that he's ever had. Christ, and another set starting. Eden and Triangles, they're all happening at once. Am I supposed to narrate that one? Let me check the schedule real quick. Alright, thank God. That both the ones playing right now aren't mine to narrate. Whew. Alright, catching my breath. Pkleech 2-0 over Starmaster. Lives to fight another day in the lower bracket. Starmaster with a shocking 0-2 exit to CALLOUS Invitational 6. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Don't know how you could have. And I will see you guys in the next video.